So, what made you start Priya's Shakti? What was your inspiration?
Well, back in 2012, there was this horrible gang rape that happened on a bus in New Delhi.
Yeah.
I was involved in these protests at that time, like many people in India, and we were horrified by what happened and what we heard on the news, and in particular what was happening to her. She was still in the hospital, still alive at that point. And at one of these protests, I spoke to a Delhi police officer and asked him about what he thought what was happening around him. And he said, no good girl walks home alone at night, implying that she either deserved it or she provoked the rape. So that began this long process and journey for me to try to understand gender-based violence. I'm a documentary filmmaker, so I was approaching it from
Yeah.
a documentary point of view. And at a certain point, after talking with rape survivors, sociologists, and so on, that I realized that the problem of gender-based violence in India was not a legal problem, but a cultural problem.
Okay.
And I needed to approach it from a kind of cultural point of view. And that's sort of where this research led to the creation of the comic book.
Were you very aware that as a man, would you be able to do complete justice to what Priya wants to, throw awareness to what women go through these hateful crimes?
Well, I definitely knew that I was not going to do justice. And that's to be very blunt and honest with you. That's why I always work with women writers and women producers in this project. And it was these survivors, whether they were rape survivors or acid attack survivors, and the fact that they were involved in the project and were lending their voices and their stories gave it that authenticity. And then secondly, I think the audience was who was also very critical. My goal from the very beginning at those protests, there were young people, both men and women, that were protesting, and I
Okay.
wanted to reach that young audience, and especially teenage boys. So I felt as a man, as an Indian man, I could lend my voice in that realm, like being able to create a character, speak to that demographic.